A normal family in the north of England can pay more council tax than someone in a much more expensive house in London, because we're still calculating things from 1991, the year that I was born. And for a moment, it looked like council tax and stamp duty was going to get scrapped. That has been ruled out, but I feel they've put that in the press just to see, essentially, what the reaction was like. And boy, did it blow up. So that is what we're going to talk about today. And feel free to comment. I want to know your opinion, where you're from, what sort of billing areas are you in, because I think, my opinion, council tax and especially stamp duty needs a bit of a reform. It's very interesting to see the divides, but let's discuss it. And while you're down there, feel free to like the video and subscribe while you're there. Now, the numbers that were kind of bounding about was a 0.48% of your current property value. This comes from this petition from Fairer Share. Because this on the screen, as you can see, is all the kind of stuff that they were proposing, which I get it. Some of it does sound pretty good on the surface, but again, there's a lot of nuance to a lot of this. And this is the big buzzword, really. 77%, 18 million will pay less, with an average saving of £556. But again, we're going into that divide of north versus south. But the one thing I think we can all agree on is the amount of hikes in council tax over the last 2 or 3 years has been pretty mind-blowing. We're talking about a vast majority of them in England up by 5%. And that is, myself included, I think mine was 4.9%, literally just under it. But you've also got some severe hikes of more than 5% in a lot of places. I mean, that is ridiculous. Even in Scotland, massive rate hikes. There's a problem. How do we solve this problem? Well, that's the question. However, the story has been quashed, essentially, because Burnham has came out saying that stamp duty is not going to be on the agenda. It raises £6.6 billion for the government in the last financial year. So, as well, the biggest debate that we had around all of this, and I know he acknowledges the fact that the counter tax system isn't the best and needs probably a bit of a tweak here and there, but stamp duty, the biggest thing that I saw in a lot of people's responses on X and stuff like that was, I want my stamp duty back. It will crash the house market with any big changes to that because people won't want to move. Now, the first thing that is broken, and you can see it on the screen, 1991, they were supposed to get reviewed. They didn't. And now we're still stuck here. So that is why you see these bands A to H, and it'll go on a random metric or a number. And you're thinking, well, my house isn't worth that. What would it have been in 1991? It's very, very odd, especially when you've got a new build like myself. The second big problem, which is an obvious one, property prices have not risen equally across every part of England. That is quite obvious. London, the south of England, as you can see, it's pretty expensive versus the northeast, the northwest, Humberside. You get the idea. And when you add to that, basically, long story short, look at the amount you're paying in council tax value versus the property price. Lower value homes are going to face a much larger bill. Myself included, mine's about £260 per month. I know people down south are paying a lot less than that and their house is worth a lot more. Again, it's nuanced, but you've also got asset rich versus cash rich. Income differences between the cost of living down south versus... I get it. But it's an issue, isn't it? But again, this is another little study here showcasing how it could change, how it could increase, decrease. But again, there's another very big, obvious elephant of a problem here. That different councils pay different amounts because they need different amount of central funding. That is where we get the big, massive issues, because you can see here, Westminster, City of London and Wadsworth are paying the least amount. And then you've got counties you'd expect, such as Scotland, the Highlands, whatever. But when you start going into the world of the averages, and then you go up, 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 you're going to start getting some very, very interesting numbers and metrics, because a lot of these are very, very close to the areas that I just mentioned as the cheapest. Why should you travel 5 miles one way in London into another borough and it become nearly double? That makes 0 sense neither. That is a problem. Because how can Croydon, for example, be ranked here Yet Westminster is rank number 1, 2, 3 for like the cheapest. But we also need to talk about stamp duty because that kind of comes in with what this proposal was. They're very, very separate things. I want to kind of showcase how different they are. Stamp duty is all about when you move house. It penalises people who move home. Kind of discourages older people to downsize because you're kind of like having to give more money away that you may not have. Makes relocating pretty expensive. I've put the stamp duties on the screen here, but as you can see, right, on average, if you live life a little bit, you're going to be within that 5% bracket realistically, especially in most places around the country nowadays. So yeah, you're going to be losing quite a bit of money there. Luckily though, if you're a first-time buyer, you do get a discounted rate. Most people have that, that's fine. But when you then have second homes, it really, really elevates up into some silly numbers, which does, again, as you can imagine, discourage people doing buy-to-let these days. So even as a first-time buyer, yes, you get the discount, but again, your first house is always going to be the smallest house you buy, not most likely normally nowadays. So yeah, getting on that property ladder is becoming harder and harder, even with this. But again, going back to what I said before, the government makes 16 billion off stamp duty alone, and that doesn't even include stocks and shares, which, as you know, invest in channel and all that. But yeah, you pay stamp duty on every single stock you buy. What we do need to talk about is that 0.48% replacement fair? Let's look at the pros and the cons, and I'll just talk about it. Connected to property wealth is a good starting point based off the past, but it's not perfect. It is potentially cheaper, yes, for the majority of the country. I'd say about 70%, as the data suggests, you probably would save money because the proportion that you pay versus your property value is very skewed. It removes a massive, massive penalty with the stamp duty for moving home. It might crumble the market a little bit as a potential change comes in. As we know, they're not looking to do it, but they might be considering it. It is more transparent than the previous bans. We can't go 35 years in the past and go, you know what, this will work. 35 years later as the market's boomed. That doesn't work. And the one thing we all know, and it's been bounded around by a lot of people, higher value property, richer, wealthier people will contribute more. But again, it's nuance. Not everyone's cash rich in those kind of estates through inheritance. We know this. And again, going into the cons, essentially, the uncomfortable sort of situation, we go to that. The first one, just because you've got a house that's worth a lot of money doesn't mean you've got money. It doesn't mean you've got high income. You've got to sell the freaking thing if you want to become liquid. Many, many pensioners fall into this bracket, unfortunately, because they cannot move. They don't want to move. That why should they move? They may just be living on a pension, living, mean to mean, whatever. And that's it. They've just got a decent roof over their head. Again, what about if house prices rise? What about home renovations? Adding an extension, adding value to your house. Where did it all come from? What if you buy a house or win a house, for example, on a maze? You're just going to sell it straight away, aren't you? You're not going to be paying that bill. It may sound fairer on paper, but again, there's so many different nuances. Why do we in the UK have the most bloody challenging tax system? It really is. Because the way I look at it, I'm just going to give you this random example here in Stanmore. 600 grand, right? That's a lot of money. Where I live, I could buy a manor house for that. I could buy a house with a 3-4 acre plot. Not even joking, by the way. Yeah, it's worth the money. But down in London, yes, you get more wages. But that could be just an average family home. That's a lot of tax, isn't it? But let's look at my opinion, my conclusion here. Council tax does need a reform. It needs an updated 1991 system that is adjustable. Because the issue that we have, and it is the biggest issue, every single council cannot manage their money in the same way. Some of them are actually pretty much broke. They overspend or they underspend on certain things, and it creates a very, very, very big problem. So what do? Do we have it where it all goes into one pot and it's divvied out fairly? But you can't, because Blackpool, Manchester, Liverpool, Newcastle, where I'm from up in Carlisle, you've got areas down south that, they're different. They're different places. They have different requirements, different needs, different situations around the home care system, around bin collection contracts, between that, it's too much. So can it ever be changed? I don't know. I think if you're looking at it from a southern point of view, and I lived in the south of England for a couple of years when I was in the Air Force, it's a different world out there. And it really is. I know people think, oh, no, it's not. It is. Everything's more expensive. It's a different world because those homes are worth more. The thing is, right, when you think about the people that bought a house 20 years ago, they are sitting on an asset that is worth a lot more, right? But their job, their wages are probably not going to nowhere near the same amount of scale, as you can imagine, than that home. So why should they pay, for example, £3,000-4,000 more per year versus someone who has bought the house at the similar sort of price 20 years ago? That doesn't make sense neither. So I know I've blown it all up, haven't I? It's chaos. But what I will say is this: do these things. Firstly, if you've never done it before, check what your council tax band is. Have a little look at the bill and see where that money goes. Whether it's the police commission, whether it's to your bins, whether it's to fire service. There's other bits and pieces that you probably think, what on earth? But they are all on there. Build wealth outside your property. Stocks and shares, ISA, your pension. Keep it super simple. Go down that route, because I think the terminology now of assets or wealth is in the bricks doesn't really plan out if they're going to go with a situation like this, because it could actually become an even bigger liability than it already is. And if you're not yet done so, jump in the link below, go to my website, get on the newsletter. I'll be doing some articles about this in the future. I'll be doing all kinds of other tools and stuff like that about personal finance. There's a lot coming. So yeah, jump in the link below. And if you're not yet done so, watch this video here, talk about savings. It's a good one.